Good evening, students and parents. How are you doing? This is the last video in this week for creating introductions. We're just looking at that one part of writing a narrative. Who did what, when, and where. So this gives you a few ideas. We have a poster for getting some topics in our heads. And again, it's the best ideas are really the simplest ideas. So you can really write about anything as long as you have a great introduction. So now we've done quite a bit. We've read a narrative. We've kind of discussed how to put together just the introduction part of the narrative. And since a narrative always involves one of the who's is you, that's the first person narrative. We put together some topic ideas. I still haven't gotten that one idea that I'm going to save this marker for. I'm going to put it right there. But we got an idea that we need to prepare ahead of time some topics that we can look at to think about a narrative that we're going to write. Now, we got another blank sheet of paper. Oh my goodness. Remember, this is what authors hate the most. And this is going to be my introduction. And I'm going to put introductions because we're just working on introductions. We aren't going to write the whole part. We're just going to focus on answering these questions to start. Now you also notice that there's a paragraph here, so this is indented right here. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to put an arrow here. I'm not going to start my paragraph right here along this pink line. I'm going to put my finger down, or instead I'm going to put a little arrow, and my first capital letter is going to go here. Now I've got to think of a who did what, when, and where. We're back to this part. Twiddling our thumbs. I can think of, now there's a pet that lives next door to me that always comes out and greets me at my house. And my next door neighbors are friends of ours. So I can kind of put that together and let's see how well I do. So I'm going to write about what happens when I come home and what my neighbor's dog does. Every time I come home, my neighbors. Now, I'm not worried about spelling, so if you misspell something, just let it go. Don't worry about that. My neighbors, because neighbors is kind of a hard word, I'm not even worried about spelling it, but I know that's neighbors. Every time I come home, my neighbor's dog runs up to the fence to greet me. Let's see if that satisfies this part of my introduction. Okay. The who, eraser. The who would the who be? Well, it'd be I, of course, because it's a first person narrative. And my neighbor's dog. Okay, I'm not going to worry about spelling right now. Let's look at did what. Okay. Runs up to the fence to greet me. Greets me. Now you notice I'm not putting a period at the end of these. Some of them I'm capitalizing, some of them not. These are, remember we had prepositional phrases. These are just phrases. They're just parts of sentences just for me to get the idea down. So I'm not even worried about writing complete sentences. Up here is enough work. Down here I'm not going to worry about. Who did what when? Oh, the when is when I come home. Coming home. I'm just going to put it probably during the day. At night the dog's indoors, so we can assume that during the day this happens most of the time. Where? Every time I come home. At home. Okay? So who did what, when, and where? I answer all that question. This is my introduction. And you're probably thinking, oh, Mr. Buttinger, that is so easy. Thank you. I'm sure you're going to do a great job, but we aren't just going to leave it with one introduction. Let's write another introduction. Oh, I can hear the complaining already. You're going to say, well, I already just came up with one. Can I tell the story? We aren't into telling the story just yet. We're just trying to work on the introduction. The who did what, when, and where. And this was one single sentence. Up to the fence, there's a prepositional phrase in there. I come home, here's my subject predicate part. So most of it is there as far as like the grammar, but I'm just working on this idea, just getting you to understand the who did what, when, and where for writing introductions. So I'm twiddling my thumbs again. What is the next thing I'm going to write about? Let's see. What should I write about? Friends. Okay. So I play tennis with friends at the park in Gallup. And we didn't get together this weekend. I stayed home. I don't even know if they joined. It was pretty windy. But I have a lot of memories about friends. I guess I could put playing together over here. Maybe that's what I'm waiting for this. So I'm going to put playing. That was one thing I can write about. When I'm playing with my friends, that would be a great topic to write about. So, we're going to indent to start our first paragraph. So remember, our introduction is always our first paragraph. So we're going to start another first paragraph here. So I didn't play this weekend, but I played last weekend. Last weekend, my friends and I, whenever you're combining two things like this, usually you come last. The people that are in front of you are the people that you're telling the story about. They come first. So you always kind of, in writing, honor the people that come before you when you're putting something down in words. Last week, my friends and I got together to play tennis. I'm going to use a prepositional phrase, at the park in, another prepositional phrase, Gallup. Oh. So again, just one sentence. Now, neighbor I didn't know how to spell, and here I knew how to spell pretty well. And you're going to have to struggle with that, but don't worry about that. We're just trying to get the idea of writing right now. So, I'm writing about my friends playing tennis in Gallup. Maybe it's kind of like a trip. I'm not sure. Well, it's certainly a memory because I'm thinking about, what we did back then. Just about all these are going to be memories. So let's see if I can do the who, did what, when, and where. So who, this is probably the easiest one. It's me, let's say me this time, my friends. Now, to play tennis, you need at least one friend, and usually there's about 4 of us that show up. So it might be a little bit complicated to write about all 4, but I'm going to give it a shot. Did what? That's obvious. Played tennis. When? Last weekend. And we don't play tennis in the dark, so we could assume that this might be during the maybe the warmest part of the day. It's been cold lately. Warmest part of the day. Here's another prepositional phrase, of the day. So you can see how prepositional phrases are going to start sneaking into your writing. Who, did what, when, where. Well, the where is easy. That's the setting. The when and where are kind of the setting. At the park. I'll put another prepositional phrase here. Again, I'm not putting periods on any of these because these are just parts of sentences. I'm not well, I did capitalize me, but most of this I'm not capitalizing because they're just phrases. So that was pretty easy. Last week my friends and I got together to play tennis at the park in Gallup. Oh, at the park in Gallup. I have some more details there about where it's at. Okay, do you think you can write one more? Okay, I want you to try doing this with a sentence down here, okay, in your introduction. So here's the samples, and I want you to come up with your own introduction right here. Tell me who, did what, when, and where. And if you want to continue writing, you can. If you want to do more introductions, well, let's see. We have a whole week. So let's say that's one. Let's say this is another one. And if you can squeeze out one more, squeeze out one more. This will be on 2 pages, okay? So write and introduction. You have 2 examples of introductions and 3 that you write on your own. And keep this paper handy. Maybe you want to write your introduction as it's happening, right at the house. Go down and put your introduction there. That's how we solve the problem of what to write about. Good luck. I'm looking forward to seeing your introductions.